I was about to sleep when my brother texted me. Check your location. You're not at Melissa's house. That's not her address. You need to leave it right now. I stared at my phone screen, the words not making sense. Of course I was at Melissa's house. I'd been here for 3 hours already. We'd eaten pizza, watched movies, painted our nails. Her parents had said goodnight an hour ago. I was literally lying in her guest bedroom with the purple walls and the collection of vintage posters she'd shown me when I arrived. The message had to be a mistake. Maybe Dylan was drunk or his phone had been hacked. My brother wasn't the type to send cryptic warnings at 11:30 at night. He was 23, worked in IT security, and lived 2 hours away in the city. We texted maybe once a week, usually about nothing important. This felt completely out of character. I opened my location sharing app, the one our parents had insisted we all install after our cousin went missing for 8 hours during a college party. The map loaded slowly, the blue dot appearing on a street I didn't recognize. Pinewood Terrace, house number 2847. But Melissa lived on Oakmont Drive. I'd been to her house twice before, both times for birthday parties in middle school. Her address was 156 Oakmont Drive, I was sure of it. I'd even memorized it because it was the same as my locker combination. Another text from Dylan. Natalie, I'm serious. That address is registered to someone named Howard Finch. I just ran it through property records. Where do you think you are? My hands started shaking. I sat up in the bed, looking around the room with new eyes. The purple walls suddenly seemed darker. The vintage posters wrong somehow. One was for a band called The Remnants that I'd never heard of. Another showed a movie from 1987 with actors I didn't recognize. Melissa loved current pop music and superhero movies. Why would she have these old posters? I grabbed my overnight bag from beside the bed and pulled out my phone charger, trying to think clearly. Maybe Melissa's family had moved and she'd forgotten to tell me. People moved all the time. But wouldn't she have mentioned something that major? We sat together at lunch every day. She'd invited me to this sleepover just yesterday, saying her parents were finally letting her have friends over again after she'd gotten her grades up. I texted Dylan back. Maybe they moved recently? I'm definitely at Melissa's house. I came here with her after school. 3 dots appeared immediately, then his response, call me right now. Don't say anything out loud, just listen. I pressed the call button with trembling fingers. Dylan answered on the first ring, his voice tight and controlled. Nat, I need you to stay calm and trust me. I've been tracking your location all night because Mom asked me to check on you. Your location has been at that Pinewood address since 6 p.m. I thought the app was glitching, so I cross-referenced property records. Howard Finch, age 48, owns that house. Purchased it 8 years ago. No other occupants listed. But I'm at Melissa's house, I whispered, my voice barely audible. I came here with her. Her mom answered the door. We ate dinner with her parents. They're upstairs sleeping right now. Natalie, listen to me very carefully. Dylan's voice had that sharp edge he got when he was trying not to panic. I need you to describe exactly what happened from the moment school ended today. I closed my eyes, trying to reconstruct the afternoon. Melissa had found me at my locker after last period. She'd been excited about the sleepover, said her dad was making his famous pizza from scratch. We'd walked to the parking lot together, but we hadn't taken the bus. Melissa said her mom was picking us up because they lived too far from school for the bus route. A blue sedan had been waiting, a woman with dark hair behind the wheel. She'd waved at us, smiling. I'd gotten in the back seat with Melissa. We'd driven for maybe 20 minutes, talking about the history test we'd bombed. The woman driving had been quiet, occasionally glancing at us in the rearview mirror. Now that I thought about it, I'd never gotten a good look at her face. The woman driving, I said slowly. I didn't really see her clearly. And the man who answered the door when we got here, he was wearing a baseball cap pulled low. He said he was Melissa's dad, but you never actually confirmed it was her parents. Dylan finished. Nat, where's Melissa right now? I stood up, my legs unsteady. She went to get us water like 10 minutes ago. Said she'd be right back. The silence on the other end of the line lasted too long. Then Dylan spoke. His words measured and careful. I need you to look around that room. Really look. Tell me what you see. I turned slowly, examining everything with new attention. The bed was made with a floral comforter that seemed too mature for a teenage girl. The dresser had a layer of dust on it, like it hadn't been used in a while. The closet door was slightly open, and I could see it was empty inside. No clothes, no shoes, nothing. My stomach turned cold. On the nightstand was a framed photo. I picked it up with shaking hands. It showed a family, 2 parents, and a teenage girl, all smiling at the camera. But the girl in the photo wasn't Melissa. She was younger, maybe 13 or 14, with lighter hair and different features, and the photo quality looked old, like it had been taken years ago. Dylan, there's the picture here. It's not Melissa. I don't know who these people are. Get out of that house right now. His voice was sharp, urgent. Don't worry about being polite. Don't say goodbye. Just grab your bag and leave. I'm calling the police and sending them to that address, but you need to get out now. I grabbed my overnight bag and moved toward the bedroom door. My hand was on the knob when I heard footsteps in the hallway. Someone was coming up the stairs. Heavy footsteps, definitely not Melissa's light tread. I backed away from the door, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. Someone's coming. I breathed into the phone. Dylan, someone's coming up the stairs. Is there a window? He asked immediately. Can you get out through a window? I looked at the window across the room. It faced the backyard, probably a 10-foot drop to the ground below. But the window had bars on it. Decorative-looking bars that I'd barely noticed before, thinking they were just part of the house's architectural style. Now they looked like what they really were, a cage. There are bars on the window. I can't get out. The footsteps stopped outside the door. The knob turned slowly. Natalie, are you still awake? It was a man's voice. The same voice that had greeted us at the door hours ago. The one I'd thought was Melissa's father. But now I could hear something off about it. Something forced and artificial in the friendly tone. I thought you might want some extra blankets. It gets cold in this room at night. I couldn't speak. My voice was completely gone. My throat closed with fear. Dylan was saying something in my ear, urgent instructions I couldn't process. The door opened. The man stood in the doorway, and this time I saw his face clearly. He was probably in his late 40s, with graying hair and glasses. He looked like someone's dad, like a teacher or an accountant. Completely ordinary except for his eyes, which were flat and calculating as they fixed on me. You're on the phone, he observed calmly. That's not ideal. Who are you talking to? I backed against the far wall, holding my phone up like it was a weapon. My brother. He's calling the police right now. They're on their way. The man's expression didn't change. Your brother Dylan, the IT security analyst who lives in Seattle? Yes, we know about Dylan. We've been planning this for quite a while, Natalie. Your whole family's schedules, your routines, your relationships. Melissa's been very helpful in gathering information. The room tilted. What do you mean? Where's Melissa? Melissa is exactly where she's supposed to be. Downstairs talking to my wife about all the fun things you girls are going to do together. She's a very dedicated friend, your Melissa. Very willing to help her family when they need her. He stepped into the room, and I saw he was holding something behind his back. You see, Melissa is our daughter. Our real daughter. Not the girl in that photo. That was our first daughter, Rebecca. She ran away 6 years ago when she was 15. Broke her mother's heart. We've been trying to fill that emptiness ever since, but it's been difficult. Rebecca was so special. So perfect. We thought if we could just find the right replacement, someone with her same spirit and intelligence, we could be whole again. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't process what he was saying. Melissa was their daughter. But Melissa and I had been friends since freshman year. We'd had classes together, eaten lunch together every day. She'd told me about her family, her annoying little brother, her parents' strict rules. All of that had been a lie. The police are coming, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. My brother sent them this address. They'll be here any minute. The man smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. I'm sure they will. But by the time they arrive, you'll just be a teenage girl staying over at your friend's house. A friend whose family you've known for years, whose house you've been to multiple times before tonight. That's what all your texts and social media posts will show. Melissa's been very thorough about establishing that history. Screenshots of conversations you never had, photos of parties you never attended. Digital footprints are so easy to create when you know what you're doing. He brought his hand from behind his back, revealing a syringe. This will just help you relax, make you more comfortable while we sort everything out. You're going to stay with us for a while, help us be a family again. If you cooperate, if you can learn to be the daughter we need, everything will be fine. Rebecca fought us at first too, but eventually she understood. Or she would have, if she hadn't ruined everything by running. My phone was still at my ear. Dylan's voice shouting instructions I could barely hear over the roaring in my head. The man took another step toward me. I looked around desperately for anything I could use as a weapon. The lamp on the nightstand was too far away. My overnight bag was near the door, out of reach. The only thing close to me was the framed photograph. I grabbed it and threw it at his face with all my strength. The glass shattered against his forehead, making him stumble back with a curse. Blood ran down from a cut above his eyebrow. I ran for the door, but he recovered faster than I expected. His hand caught my arm, fingers digging in painfully. I screamed as loud as I could, a sound that tore from my throat with desperate force. "Richard, she's being difficult!" he shouted toward the stairs. "Bring Melissa up here!" I twisted in his grip, trying to break free, but he was much stronger. He pushed me against the wall, the syringe still in his other hand, moving toward my neck. Then I heard something that made both of us freeze. Sirens. Multiple sirens, getting closer by the second. The man's face changed, fury replacing the calm calculation. "You stupid girl. Do you have any idea what you've done? We spent months planning this. Months of Melissa building trust with you, learning everything about you. This was supposed to be perfect. Let her go, Howard." A woman's voice came from the hallway. I looked over to see the woman from the car, the one who'd pretended to be Melissa's mother. But her face was different now, twisted with anger and something else. Fear. "The police are here. It's over. Let her go and maybe we can salvage something." "It's not over." Howard's grip on my arm tightened. "We can still make this work. We can explain. We can..."